Good morning, my positivitinos and positivitinas. It's hump day, which means it's story time. And time to pay homage, time to pay respects to my grandparents. And today, what I want to do is talk about my grandpa. As I'm always talking about my nonna and how wonderful she is, which she definitely was. And so is my grandpa. Um, Obviously, women have the tendency to be more tender and more nurturing and a little bit softer. That's typically, just how it is. And Grandpa was definitely a great guy, a great, just loving person, a good example of hard work. And I feel that a lot of my work drive comes from my grandpa. Um, he grew up in Sicily, and he went to an apprenticeship program to be a tailor from a young age. And I didn't realize this until actually his funeral last year, around this time. Um, Actually, no, around November of last year. At his funeral, I found out that my grandpa was an apprentice at the age of 8 years old. So he learned the trade that took care of his family for so many years that he stuck with, and he became like a perfectionist. And he was, man, like one of the best around. He worked in a tailor shop in New York, and then when they moved to Hollywood, he worked at actually Neiman Marcus for years. We used to clown on it and call it needless markup. It was so expensive, even with this discount, you wouldn't really get much. But yeah, that's a little background story of my grandpa. Um, One of the greatest memories I have with my grandpa was when I was about 6 years old. It's not a specific story per se, but it's just a great thing that I used to do with him when I was little. My sister and I, after every meal, he would always tell us, "Let's work it off. Let's go for a walk." And after we would eat, we would get up, and sometimes we would help Nona wash the dishes, and then he would stretch his feet, and he'd go like this with his feet, and one leg up, okay, and then the other way, one leg up, and then all right, let's go for the walk, come on, and we go around the neighborhood, and I still remember to this day, it's so crazy how different neighbors were back then. They knew almost everybody in the neighborhood, and as you walk by, everybody knew my grandpa. And hey, Joe, how you doing? His name is Giuseppe, and in English, I guess it would be Joseph, so they would call him Joe. And almost everybody knew him, and they would, have little fruit trees, and he would show me this tree, and oh, look, this is baby oranges, let's try this. And this guy has tomatoes, and this guy has mangoes, this guy has a lemon tree. And almost every neighbor that we went by, they would always give my grandpa food, and give him something from the plant, and they would talk about the stuff that they grew. And then whenever they came by our house, those same neighbors, when the mangoes were ripe, my grandpa would come over. Hey, you want some of mango? Come on, it's okay. Have some of this. And it was just so cool to see that kind of community. So I guess a big part of it, a lot of times you don't really realize it until you get older, but a lot of the qualities that you carry with you from day to day, they don't stem from yourself. They come from your parents and your grandparents. So if there's qualities that you really admire about yourself, thank your parents, because 9 times out of 10, that's where they came from. So with that being said, I love you guys. I hope you enjoyed the message and the story about my grandpa. And if you're feeling the vibe, do me a favor and click anywhere on that like, share, and subscribe. I love you guys. Enjoy the rest of your week.